Good morning and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We are on episode 84. So I'm bringing the other safety for the Cover 2 Cook, bringing Lisa to this one today. We are going to be talking about the NFL. There is still things happening in the NFL with signings and possibly Aaron Rodgers. What are you going to do in this situation? But the biggest part of this conversation is going to be about the college football or college basketball March Madness frenzy as we get into this. But before I get too far, thank you for joining, Lisa. How are you doing today?
You're welcome. Hello.
So right off the bat, let's talk about NFL. We want to get to college basketball. I totally understand, but we have to talk about the NFL. Cooper Kupp signs a 3-year, $45 million contract going to the Seattle Seahawks. Huge sign for them. Obviously, we gave them a lot of conversation about who is Sam Darnold going to throw the ball to? Who's he going to be able to get the ball to outside of Jackson Smith-Njigba? Well, guess what? If Cooper Kupp can stay healthy, he will be a solid pickup for them. Lisa, who did Cooper Kupp play for?
The Rams.
Oh, there we go, right off the bat. Now, there was some talk about Sam Darnold's contract. It looks like the Seahawks can kind of pull the trigger on that one real quick if he doesn't perform the way. That's another conversation that we've brought up on Cover 2 Cook is why give him all that money if he ain't going to perform that way? Well, it sounds like the Seahawks kind of got ready for that in case it does happen. That one's big, I think, because if they do get rid of him, you're looking at, is that why Geno didn't sign there? Is that why Geno wanted out? Is that the contract they were giving Geno in that situation? So that was some of the news happening in Seattle. So Seattle might be a little bit better than what we kind of thought in that situation. Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins signed with the Bengals. So they get both of them. Not just one, but both of them. Lisa, where did Ja'Marr Chase play college football at?
With Joey at
one of the best.
LSU.
Yeah, away. T. Higgins, I want to ask you that one. T. Higgins, Ja'Marr Chase signs a 4-year, $161 million contract. Highest paid player without being the quarterback. We say that all the time. Every time that someone gets signed, that's the goal. Be the highest paid player that's non-quarterback. T. Higgins gets 4 years, $115 million. So you start doing like a little math, and you're like, $125 million being paid out for 3 players. Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins. That is a lot of money to be paying out for just 3 players. Now, you look at these past Super Bowls. What teams are doing that? Is it even sustainable? Is it something that you can even win with with all that type of money being on for 3 players? We will definitely see. They will have to draft really well for them to be competitive, for sure. Derek Stingley Jr. signs a 3-year deal, $90 million contract. Huge for the DBs. Question there, where did he play college football?
You got me. I'm going to guess Notre Dame.
Nope. LSU it is. He actually played against Ja'Marr Chase. There's some good tape of that when they would go at it as Ja'Marr Chase would be the wide receiver. Derek Stingley would be the corner. But this contract's huge for DBs. You know, we see the wide receivers get their kind of money. Ja'Marr Chase gets signed. You see all that kind of money. Well, there's guys that are competing against them, playing against them, shutting them down, or slowing them down. Where's that money coming? Well, Derek Stingley getting a 3-year, $90 million contract, huge deal, $30 million a year. Obviously, Ja'Marr Chase is getting closer to $40 million a year, where this is only $30 million. But it's a good start to lead up to possibly seeing someone getting paid, you know, like a wide receiver at the DB position. It's a passing league. You got to stop the pass. And if you got a guy that can do it, he's going to get paid very well because it's either that guy or it's a guy coming off the edge, right? All right. And then Aaron Rodgers. What is Aaron Rodgers known for?
Being sacked the most.
There it is. Trivia master. Cam Hayward makes a comment saying either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. This is now to the point where it's like, dude, you're pissing players off that you may play with. So either get on the team or don't. I know he's waiting for what Minnesota is bringing. That's what the people are talking about. I think Minnesota – if I'm a Vikings fan, I think Minnesota should sign him. I truly think this is where you could take Justin Jefferson's only going to be on the team for so long. You got to bring him through. And I think Aaron Rodgers gives you a better chance than J.J. McCarthy to win a Super Bowl. Isn't that not our goal? Isn't that our goal to win a Super Bowl every year? To be competitive in the NFC North, you might have to bring him in. Vikings, at the same time, go out and go get Jordan Mason from the 49ers. Jordan Mason gets this huge performance after what guy gets injured? Running back for the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey gets hurt this last year. Jordan Mason has a huge year. Vikings are hoping that he can do it again. I do think this is a good pickup. You still have Aaron Jones at starting running back. This is a guy that's more agile. I think we picked up Cam Akers last year, which played for the Rams. He's more agile. This is what Jordan Mason will be. They actually signed him for a 2-year deal as well. But that's all the football news. I know Lisa's like, all right, let's get on to the basketball. College basketball starts actually tonight for the first 2 that play in. 2 games tomorrow on Wednesday, and then we start on Thursday. So I have a question right off the bat. Is 4 TVs too many to have?
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So don't even listen to that. That's not the answer we were expecting there. 4 TVs, keg in the basement. That is what this weekend's about, okay? Keg, because you don't need to change out how many beers are in there. You just go over and get your cup. 4 TVs, so you're watching the games from start to finish. Now, I don't believe that's too many, but are you taking Thursday and Friday off?
No.
I'm taking Thursday and Friday off because only a true fan would actually take Thursday and Friday off for these games. There's nothing like it. Can you name anything that's like this?
Well, probably not, but that just seems excessive.
Yeah, no, I think that Thursday leading up to it is like, I remember being in school and Thursday, some teachers would let you kind of watch it, some wouldn't. You're sitting there kind of watching all these games. Friday, you're like, okay, like, should I skip school?
I'm so glad your education went to a good cause here.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, like, what are you even learning at this point of the year to need to be? So, yeah, Thursdays and Fridays always would be. Now, for me as an adult, I'm gonna take some PTO. I'm gonna sit my big butt down and watch these games all day. So another question I have is, how many brackets is acceptable?
I would think 3 brackets are probably acceptable. Any more than that, it's just pick a damn team and move on.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. For me personally, I think you could do 2.
Okay.
And it's one where it's like one with your head and one with your heart. You know what I mean? Like one where you're like, I'm going to pick all the teams that I hope win. And this is what I hope the March Madness goes like.
Okay.
And then there's one where you're like, okay, I watched the conference championships. I started watching a little bit earlier in the year. And this is who I think is going to win, right? These are the guys that I've been watching. I think 2 is acceptable. 3, you're kind of pushing it because now you're like, what are you actually changing out of the whole thing?
I think you got your underdogs in there, and I think you got your more unrealistic ones.
Yeah. Coming through like the 12s and 5s and things like that. Yeah. Well, I do have a question for you. How do you pick your teams in the bracket?
Very strategically. I have a very thorough process. I look at all the names, any fun, cool names that stand out, get a higher pick. And then I go through and look at all the colors. And I have my favorite color list. And then I go the extra mile here and I look at all the rosters and who has the cutest number 2, because number 2 is my lucky number. So whoever has a cute player, that's my pick. But I'm personally always biased. And I pick Duke like 90% of the time, so go Duke.
Yeah, no, I totally thought this is exactly what the answer was going to be to that question. I remember one year there was a Cook.
There was a Cook.
That was number 2 for Duke.
For Duke, it was a trifecta.
Yeah, it was the perfect. And that, I mean, we were just dating, so I mean, you were really shooting your shot.
What can I say?
No, I definitely think when you look into this one, you can do things like that. And that's what makes it fun. So maybe, like you said, there is a 3rd bracket where you're kind of just in there being like, okay, that's what I call my fun bracket, right? Mm-hmm. That's the one where I'm like, this is what I hope kind of how it goes.
But I feel like I have a unbiased side to it because I didn't watch any football going into this.
Or basketball.
Ooh, yeah, basketball going into this. So it's really like a free-for-all for me. So you never know. You might get a Wofford coming out of nowhere and beating that number 1.
No. I mean, you got to remember, though, because there is some of these teams that have we've been at places where we've seen the 1 seed win, and it's like, holy shit, the number 1 seed just got beat.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
What was that? Virginia versus who was that?
It was like Oral Roberts or some crap like that. I don't know. It might have been Wofford. It feels like it's but you do have teams like that. I mean, I think when you look at this bracket this year, it's gonna be a lot of fun. SEC dominates, getting 14 teams in there. That's the record so far of how many teams. Now, the conferences kind of help it a little bit because, like when you have a 20-team conference, it's a good chance you're going to get 14 in. I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and Rick Pitino, which is coach for St. John's, was bringing up Big East and ACC joining together. That would be a huge conference. Great basketball. That's the Duke. That's the North Carolina. That's the Georgetown. That's the Villanova. That would be great basketball for a conference championship. So you're looking at that, but like St. John's this year coming out might be a great team to kind of watch. I know the other one that usually joins us, Mr. Timothy, he's riding hard with St. John's this year. Is there any other team outside the number ones that you think can win it this year, though?
Well, I haven't looked to see yet, but I'm going to go with my new home state, Wisconsin.
You know what? And I think Wisconsin's a good guess. They just better shoot the ball lights out, because if they don't, they're just not they're not a physical team. So I don't think these SEC teams might run more than what the Wisconsin is. I wonder if the Big Ten is down this year because, you see these SEC teams dominate the way they have. Can Big Ten run with them? Can the Michigans, can the Michigan State, can the Wisconsin, can they run with a Tennessee and things like that? Because in that bracket that you have Wisconsin going or possibly coming up, they might have to go against Alabama in Sweet 16. Alabama's had a good year, but is SEC what it's supposed to be? Because if you remember, it was like either 2 or 3 years ago, Big Ten got like 10 teams in, right? And everyone was like, oh my gosh. By the second round, 5 of the 10 or 6 of the 10 were gone.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things where it's like, can the SEC actually compete? For me personally, if I'm going to pick a team that's coming out that is not a number 1 seed, I'm going with the number 2 seed. And I'm going with St. John's. And here's why I'm saying that. If St. John's can beat Florida, who I have winning the national championship, if they can beat Florida, I think they can beat anyone. Florida, I think, is the most complete team coming into this. The showdown, they're playing good ball. They win the SEC tournament. I think they are. But who do you have winning it all?
Of course, the Blue Devils!
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
I do think Duke's going to make it to the championship. I think Cooper Flagg coming back will be a huge difference for that team. But at the same time, they won the ACC tournament. So, like, is it that big? Like when you say when he comes back, is it that big of a difference? But they're already pretty solid. Bringing in Cooper Flagg definitely puts them up to a superior level. I definitely think that, we start tonight with some games. We start Wednesday with games, and then we just go into Thursday of mayhem. And I laugh. And I want to say this because Lisa, every year, now you're going to the office on Thursday, right?
I am.
Okay. Every year I take Thursday and Friday off, and Lisa will work that Thursday and take Friday off. And every year we sit there and she's like, oh, what's happening? Oh, what's happening? What's happening? Because you'll hear me yelling for a buzzer beater or something like that. And it's like, next year you have to take Thursday and Friday off. Next year you have to take Thursday and Friday off. We are now going to where you're going to be in the office this year.
Yes.
So that you're not listening to the games, watching the games. I would be surprised if someone at work doesn't have some setup, though, watching the games.
That could be true, but it's a lot of basketball. And that's my thing is like, I can watch it all day one day, and that's typically Friday. But then after that, I'm like, all right, that was a lot. What's the next thing?
See, and then that's the thing. You take it for granted because Thursday you get all day, 4 games all day from 11 a.m. till pretty much 11 at night. And then Friday you get right back, right? And then Saturday you don't start off with 4 games. It kind of gets a little bit like 1 game, and then you get to 4 games and 4 games. So then like even by Saturday you're missing what Thursday and Friday were. And then Sunday you're like, okay, I know that this is the last day before we go into like a Sweet 16 where it's not going to have all day 4 games. I just think you have to live in the moment for those Thursday and Friday because before you know it, it's over.
Yeah, but it's also like the last 10 minutes that are also the most exciting though. So that's what I'd rather just just zoom through to watch.
You just want the highlights.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know why I really brought her on for this one because that's not accurate at all. But it will be a fun March Madness. We'll post our brackets before Thursday when the games start. Kind of show you guys who we're going for and who we're taking for our picks. This is kind of a short episode. We're just kind of throwing something out there. We will be back on Friday. On Friday, it'll be me and Timmy Boy back talking about what happened on Thursdays, if there was big games that happened on Thursday. And then on Friday, talking about also what's going to be happening on Friday and what could be coming forward on Saturday and Sunday. So definitely tune in. If you're gambling out there, have fun with it. Be easy, because the March Madness definitely gets a little out of hand very fast. It's going to be a tough one for us up here in Wisconsin, having to cross the border to go get some betting done. But we will get that betting done for these games. But everyone have a great rest of your week. We will be back on Friday, and we thank you guys so much.
Bye. You got to hit the button.
Yeah, I'm trying.